It's 6 p.m. on a Friday and one of your servers is missing. Apparently they swapped their shift on Tuesday, but the other person says they never agreed. Now you're swiping through 3 different apps looking for proof. That's what happens when shift swaps live across texts, emails, and DMs. Managers who switch to a dedicated work communication tool save about 7 hours every month on communication alone. That's an entire shift back to spend coaching your team. Today we'll look at using one official channel, 3 clear rules, and a checklist you can start using this week. The first step is creating one single source of truth for all swap requests. Every shift change and manager approval needs to happen in one official place. Before we move on, drop a comment below and tell me how your team handles this right now, whether that's a group chat, sticky notes, or carrier pigeon. Having one source of communication for shift swaps means managers spend less time approving swaps and figuring out who's working. It also provides an audit trail so you can go back and find who agreed to take a shift and who approved it. Something to keep in mind is that while using a single channel fixes visibility, it doesn't fix bad judgment. Once you pick your shift swap channel, you have to spell out the rules. Your shift swap policy should be short and clear. First, figure out your approval flow by deciding what needs a manager sign off and which requests can be auto-approved. Swapping for the same role, skill, and hours is a lot less risky than swapping for a different role or picking up multiple shifts. Start by defining who can work which jobs. Write down exactly which staff members are trained for the bar, the floor, or the kitchen. If your bartenders are allowed to serve, but your servers can't work the bar, put that in writing. The same thing applies in the back of the house. Define who's allowed to work which station. You could also assign skill or experience levels to employees to clarify who can switch with who. For example, you might not want a newbie bartender covering for a veteran. One of the most important rules is that a swap shouldn't cause overtime or break any labor laws. If a line cook takes a 6-hour shift, you may not notice at first, but those extra hours could max out your labor budget. Even worse, if it's a morning shift and they're already scheduled to close the night before, it could violate Cloven laws. Then you need to set a request deadline, for example, 24 to 48 hours, to cut down on last-minute changes. You can still allow for emergency exceptions, but the general rule should be clear for the whole team. Also, stress that the original employee is accountable for showing up for the shift until the swap is approved through the official channel, not by texts, DMs, or verbal agreements. Now, the complexity of shift swaps multiplies when you use paper schedules. The second you approve a swap, every printed schedule is out of date. So you find a pen, cross out the name, send everyone a photo of the sheet, then answer questions from 3 people about the latest copy. That's 10 minutes already. When you go digital, you get notified of only the shift swaps you need to review and tap approve in seconds. The schedule changes automatically, employees get a notification, and there's a time-stamped record. 7 Shifts makes this easy for you. Employees can quickly trade shifts and put shifts up for grabs in the mobile app. You can specify who they can trade shifts with and whether trades require manager approval. Once complete, the schedule updates automatically and everyone's on the same page. When you streamline shift swaps, you spend a lot less time on the nitty-gritty. To recap, pick one official place for every request and approval, whether that's an email, group chat, or dedicated work app. Write down your 3 rules covering eligibility, overtime limits, and request deadlines. Make sure to update the schedule with every approved swap. Software like 7 Shifts makes this a lot easier. If you only change one thing this week, make it the single communication channel. To keep things simple, I put all of this into a shift swap policy template you can download in the description. It's a 1-page doc you can print and post in the staff room and employee handbook today. Now, your shift swaps are under control. What about your labor costs? Click here to watch our breakdown on restaurant labor cost percentage and see if your schedule is hitting targets. If you learned something new, why not hit the subscribe button? Keep getting free resources and data for restaurant operators.